I'm Dillio, and this is my review of an experience I had this past weekend called the Creators Retreat. Now, let's start with the disclosures. When I talk about this experience, I want to tell you that I have a few intentions. First is that I want to be as respectful and as polite as possible. The second intention is that I want to be honest to help other producers on their journey. And I want to be very transparent about this experience because there are some great things and there are some things I wasn't quite comfortable with. What I want you to also know, this video is not intended to discourage anyone from participating for this event, but I want them to learn from my experience to make their own choice. I don't have someone around me to tell me which way to go to navigate this music industry. At the end of the day, this music industry is tough and the path is not always clear to the dreams and goals that you want to achieve. So again, this is my confession or my thoughts about the experience. I want to make sure anyone knows who watches the video to know that I mean things in the most positive way as possible, that it's respectful, and that it's positive. I also want to say that I believe the people in the company who runs this event, that their intentions are positive and that their intentions are good. So let's get started. What is the Creators Retreat? From my experience, what I can see is that, from what I understand, it's an opportunity to be able to present and network with some people in the music industry. In this case, it was a senior music supervisor and also an A&R for a label locally here in the city. The day started at 10 a.m. I basically walked into a room with a bunch of tables lined up, a projector screen, some power ran across the room so that people could hook up their setup. I personally wasn't quite sure what exactly to bring, but I talked to a friend of mine, and basically this is an opportunity for you to spend the day learning from people in the industry and also an opportunity to make tracks. So me and other producers was filing into this room. I had a red wagon with a bunch of my equipment in it. I felt like I probably brought a little too much, but I really didn't quite know exactly what the experience would be like, so I did my best to maybe over-prepare. Unfortunately, there wasn't really enough space for me to plug all my equipment around where I would have liked it to be. Again, that could have been my fault because I just brought too much stuff. But as you can see, I make my music here. I don't make it on a laptop. This setup is not just some setup that I can just pick up and grab and take with me anywhere I go and just start making tracks. It really took time for me to adjust to that experience because as I'm setting up, other producers are setting up, and we're all trying to set up and make sure everything is working while at the same time being encouraged to network. Personally, I felt like the priority for me at that moment was to make sure everything was working, because if you have any experience with technology and music making equipment, you know that when you take it, when you move it around, I don't care if it's a Mac or a PC, something can go wrong. All I really wanted to do was just focus on making sure that everything was working. I had a very complicated setup. I probably had one of the most complicated setups in there. I was the only one in there with an analog synthesizer. I was just totally overkill because, again, I wanted to make sure that I didn't leave anything on the table. So now we're in a room with a bunch of producers waiting to meet the guys again. Yesterday I went to the free networking event where you didn't have to pay to be a part of, and I met some of the guys there, but that wasn't the time to really get their information. I didn't really know what to do. I could have probably asked the key people there their information. One of the guys wasn't there, one of the guys was. But there was a lot of people there, and it was a cool event because, again, you're supposed to network. So here I'm in this room, speakers against the wall, projector screen, laptop in the middle for the online participants, which I thought was cool. PA system in the back where it should be so you can hear the system. We then get kind of like a brief of the staff members. Okay guys, we're going to do this, that, the other at this time. I think a cool thing that eventually took place was that all the producers started networking, started meeting. I thought that was cool. And I was comfortable with doing it too once I had everything set up. But what I came to find out was that my system wasn't fully functional because my machine was working with my PC laptop, but my machine jam wasn't. So I went through all this process of reinstalling drivers and stuff like that, and I couldn't get it done. Now it's network time, so now I'm meeting up with all these other producers. We're talking shop, we're getting in circles, and that definitely was a pleasant experience. It was nice to be in that experience. Not too much longer after that, it was time to go out for lunch, and we all had, for what I was told, I remember being told we had like 30 minutes for lunch. Personally, I felt like if we were going to be there for the whole day like that, that we should have been allocated more time. I don't think that time was like strictly enforced, but to hear someone say you got 30 minutes, 35 minutes for lunch was a little off-putting for me. And we sat outside and we had lunch, and we had these nice kind of healthy deli sandwiches with some gourmet chips, a really dope brownie, and a veggie a veggie wrap, and there was water and lemonade offered there, and you know, we sat down and had one plate. If you know anything about me, I'm on a weight loss journey on my other channel, so I was kind of eyeballing it, trying to figure out, okay, what calories are this? And it was very tasty and very good, and we kind of got back in there. Also keep in mind that I still don't have everything working, and I wasn't really in the mood to work on FL Studio. We're all filing back in the room. We all got our tables, we got our setup. Some people had MIDI controllers on their side. I was in the corner to where I could have my Moog set up and stuff like that, and I was just ready to throw down. Now, on the website, it said make sure you just, and they had different categories for what to bring to this event. So a lot of times they say, hey, bring your mic. And that's one thing I wasn't going to bring to an event like this. There's no way I'm going to cut vocals in an environment like that. But without any prior experience, you don't really know exactly what to take serious and what to filter through. So now I'm sitting here kind of being frustrated about my equipment not working. I'm at a table that's a little smaller than what I would have expected for the fee that I paid. And you know, the staff is really excited, and I was happy for the staff because they were definitely trying to encourage producers to have a great experience, and I saw that. And you know, they were very happy. They were walking around with their cell phones, kind of filming us working and stuff like that. I don't think they really filmed me working because I couldn't work. You know, they might have scrolled past me and see me trying to fix windows and stuff like that. So that kind of was a little issue for me right there. But hey, when you're a company, you definitely gotta promote, you gotta do things and stuff like that. Then it was time to stop and go to the front of the room. Now, in the front of the room, there are some chairs set up, and there's kind of like something set up like a listening panel, kind of like America's Got Talent. You got 3 microphones, you got a staff member, and the 2 guests were invited. One was the senior music supervisor, another one was the A&R for a label. So I sat up to the front trying to be a good student. At that moment, we were briefed on what both of the individuals were looking for, and there's also a Q&A session from the staff member asking them questions, and then people in the audience, other producers, could ask them questions. And what was also cool was that people who were attending online could also ask questions as well. What would I've liked to see more is more focus on the aftermath of the event. I was really focused at that time, like, okay, how do we make this work after this is done?